I wonder. You know what? Action Park. Let's go. Let's go to Action Park.
New and improved and open once again.
Fantastic. Anna Gilligan is there this morning. Hello, Anna.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I think you're seeing some guys jump off the Tarzan jump here.
Whoa, nice
Park.
flip.
It's been closed since 1996. They reopened it on June 14th. I'm here with the owner, Andrew Mulhaville. He's also the son of the man who founded it. Thanks for being here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for coming out. What a day we have. It's beautiful.
June 26th, 2014.
Because
Nice.
Action Park got a bit of a reputation.
Uh-oh. That freaking slide.
Some people got injured.
That was 30 years ago. The world has changed. I mean, when my dad started the park,
We have a
he
lot
was
more
inventing
safety
the
measures
rides
now.
and bringing inventors in. Now it's highly regulated. Everything's engineered.
I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
Whee! Nice. Defunctland. Action Park. I know episode 18. There's a lot of these. That's awesome. A gay green alien suggested he did a video on this guy do a video on Action Park. Thank you, gay green alien. Without you, we would have never gotten this. Oh, so I love this guy. I love the Alpine
The year is
Slide.
1976. Gene Mulvihill, the head of entertainment company Great American Recreation, has added a new attraction to Vernon, New Jersey's Vernon Valley Ski Resort. Two brand new Alpine slides were installed to keep business up in the off-season. An Alpine slide is
Nice.
a one-person cart ride, in which the rider rides down a hill in a smooth track. The rider has a brake lever in between their legs, giving them complete control of their speed. The attraction
And complete control over their fate. Sorry. Let me just... Oh god, which tag did I just remove? Anyways, Sorry. I removed a tag, and I'm worried. I'll figure it
had
out
become
later.
popular for ski resorts in the late 70s, and
I'll
Vernon
fix it
Valley Ski
later.
Resort's Alpine Slide was advertised as an attraction for all ages, claiming, "We've had grandfathers and we've had kids of kindergarten age coming down our runs alone." I also have a
Wow.
picture showing a mother controlling the sled with an infant in her arms. It's that easy. After the
Nice.
success of the slide, Mulvihill went forward with his plans to expand the ski resort into a water
Oh
park
god.
during the off
Oh god, the lag. Sorry. Hold on a sec. Give me a moment. Oh, it's wild. It's wild that I removed. Just gonna make sure I get that tag back. Sorry. Carry on. Move along. Nothing to see here. All right.
He added 2 water slides and a racetrack, and more slides, a softball field, a tennis court, and a swimming
Wow.
pool were added shortly thereafter.
Epic.
The Vernon Valley Summer Park was rebranded to Action Park, a thrilling amusement
Hell
park where
yeah.
you control the action. More slides and rides
You
were added, and they
control
began
the
the
action.
big marketing push to draw audiences into their new water park.
Where you
Go to Action Park. There's no other park
control
like
the
it.
action. Yep.
When it's hot out, this is a great place to spend the day with your family.
Nice.
of big things for little kids to do. I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Like coming to Broadway. It's wonderful.
It's like Broadway.
Race like a pro. It's great.
It's just like
These are the most
Broadway.
amazing rides in the world. I love it here.
Like Action Park.
The park was revolutionary. Not only was it one of the first water parks of its kind in the United States, but it also marketed itself as the biggest. It was eventually home to 75 rides, 40 of
Whoa!
which were water slides.
That's a
Action
lot.
Park was split into 3 themed lands. The first was
Motor World. Vroom vroom.
Motor World
Haha.
consisted of 3 types of attractions: land, water, and air rides.
I'm surprised they didn't round it out with the they didn't round out the elements with some fire attractions. They could have been the amusement park Avatar if they had fire attractions.
On land was the popular battle action tanks. For an additional
Yeah.
fee, guests could ride inside tanks equipped with tennis ball cannons. The
Nice.
goal was to shoot the other tanks in the caged area on one of their targets, disabling their cannons for 15 seconds. Those that
Nice.
chose to ride the tanks were allotted 5 minutes to do so, and those that did not want to ride could pay to use a stationary cannon from the outside.
That's
Maintenance
kind of
employees
awesome.
attempting to fix broken down tanks would be subject to fire from the rowdy guests, making the attraction a nightmare to work at. The other two land-based
that's
Motor World
why.
attractions were the Lola cars and the Super Go-Karts, both of which were kart race attractions. The Super
Ooh,
Go-Karts were
nice.
driven on a small loop. The carts themselves were designed to max out at 20 miles per hour, but the employees found that sticking a tennis ball in the governor device allowed the cart to go as fast as possible,
Oh,
with the
shit.
new maximum speed being around 50 miles an hour.
Oh
Head-on
my
collisions
God.
frequently sent guests to the hospital, and the fumes from the engines overwhelmed riders at times. The Lolo cars were mini open cockpit race cars driven on a longer track, and they cost an additional charge to ride. Their maximum speed could also be tampered with by park employees. These were also used after hours by the workers, sometimes being taken off the track and driven on the nearby highway. There were two
Oh my
water
God.
rides at Motor World. The
Psycho-
super speedboats were driven in a small
psychos.
circle around an island in a pond, a
Psychos.
pond that also had a large population of snakes in it. The guests would often attempt
Snakes!
to bump nearby boats, as if they were on Motor World's other water attraction, bumper boats.
Bumper
These were boats placed in a small pool and were designed to withstand guests crashing into one another. These were known to leak gasoline, which once required a guest to
Of
be examined after
course.
too much fuel leaked on their skin. The boats were also incredibly small, and riders with long legs had to position their feet off the side of the boat to fit. This led to injuries and bone fractures after collisions.
Ow!
Finally, Motor World had two airbase attractions. One was Space Shot, which was a typical drop tower ride and was one of the safest rides at the park.
Safe is a relative term. In this case, meaning not immediately life-threatening. Good lord.
Given it was
Good
only
lord.
open for Action Park's last operating year. The second air ride was another upcharge attraction, Slingshot, which was also fairly safe. This ride
Fairly
was a common
safe.
amusement park and carnival ride, in which guests were shot up on two bungee cords and flipped upside down.
That's
kind
kind of fun, though.
There's no doubt that Motor World had its dangerous attractions, but this is just the beginning of what Action Park has in store.
It's the calm
Another
before
section
the
of park
storm
was-
that is approaching. The Alpine attractions, the
Many
Alpine
non-water-based attractions
attractions.
were located in their own section of the park, sometimes labeled the Alpine Center. These included the aforementioned Alpine slides, as well as a bungee jump titled the Snapple Snap-Up Whipper Snapper ride.
I have no idea whether they landed a lucrative Snapple sponsorship or if it was just an oddly named attraction. I would say the latter.
Originally having 2 jump stations and then later 4, guests could jump off the tower for an additional fee. A skate park also had a short run at Action Park. It was poorly designed, as it was surrounded
Not a
by
photo of the
concrete
skate
and had
park door.
uneven edges, which led to many injuries during its existence. Interestingly,
course.
Action Park also had an attraction entitled the Action Park Gladiator Challenge, partially based off of the popular American Gladiators TV show.
Naturally.
This included obstacle courses and jousting matches against the Action Park Gladiators. Finally, Action Park had its own monorail called the Transmobile. This went to the Ski Lodge, the Alpine Center, and to Motor World. So far, Action Park has proved to be dangerous, but where are the absolutely terrifying rides?
Yeah,
Where are the rides
where
that
are
so
they?
insane that their mere existence is unbelievable?
Yeah, where are
Moreover,
they?
Where are the water slides?
Mr. Defunctland? Waterworld! Where's Kevin
section
Costner in his piss filter? Where's Kevin Costner in his piss filter?
Action in Action Park. Waterworld had it all. It was home to the tidal wave pool, a 100 feet by 200 feet pool that could hold anywhere between 500 and 1,000 people.
God
The pool's floor was
damn.
slanted, and the further guests went in it, the deeper it got. Waves went 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off,
Classic.
and they could reach a height of
I
over
kinda
3
like
feet.
this one.
This was challenging for swimmers of all skill levels, as the pool was hard to read
full
and the fresh water
meter.
was more difficult to swim in than salt
Holy
water.
shit.
A dozen lifeguards were on duty at the pool, and they would have to save around 30 people on a busy day.
God
the Tarzan Swing was a
damn.
heavily advertised attraction in which guests would swing on a 20-foot cable over a pool. This spring-fed pool was so cool that lifeguards would have to rescue guests that could not swim after the shock
You
of the
missed
cold
this so
water.
far.
This was also a popular attraction for men to pull down their pants or women to pull up their tops for the line of people to see. The appropriately
Nice.
named Aqua Scoot gave guests a sled,
Nice.
with which they would slide down an assembly
Yeah, I
line
love
style roller coaster,
Defunctland.
hurtling them toward a shallow pool that they would skip across. If the guest was not in an ideal position, it would get caught under the water, sending the rider crashing forward. There were originally a pair of these slides, each 30 feet long, but a third slide was eventually added. The diving cliffs had 2 jumping bases,
Cool.
one 23 feet and the other 18 feet tall, with the pool below being 16 feet. The pool was also for non-jumpers, some of which were unaware of the cliffs, which resulted in collisions. There was only
Ow.
one lifeguard on duty, who had to work extra hard to make sure that no one was at the bottom of the pool. The super speed water slides, also known as Geronimo Falls, were a pair of high-speed vertical water slides. One of them was steeper than the other, and both were dangerous. Near
The tops would be met with cheers and the pants with threats of calling the police, no doubt. Yep. Society. But yeah, you just got here at the best part, which is the water park.
These was the safer Kamikaze, which was a more traditional tube slide. The kayak experience was
Kamikaze.
pretty self-explanatory and used underwater fans to simulate water rapids. This was dangerous, but that goes without saying at this point.
After all, there are snakes around these bogs.
A similar ride, the Roarin' Rapids, allowed guests to ride in a 1 or 2 person raft down a similar river. The Surf Hill had riders slide down a multi-laned, multi-hill slide on a mat. Riders could easily cross over to the adjacent lanes and cause collisions. And the 7th hill, nicknamed the Backbreaker, had an additional hump that would send riders flying, resulting in injury. The Colorado River Ride was another raft ride, this time allowing up to 4 people, and it went through the wooded area of the park. At one point, the riders would come to a fork in the river and had to choose between 2 paths. The first path took guests under a waterfall and a series of tunnels. The second path included a waterfall and another fork, with one path being steeper than the other. The ride also included a foot-tall jump that would allow riders and their raft a short airtime. The Aerodonium was a skydiving simulator that caused injuries when guests would try to stop their falls with their arms. Waterworld also had a variety of other typical water slides and pools that were less notable, but there's one in particular that has yet to be mentioned. This is the attraction that made
and not the
Action
giant
Park the
punching
most
bags.
infamous, the Cannonball Loop. A tubed water
The
slide
Cannonball
with a
Loop.
similar.
There it is. Look at this shit. You don't know what the Parks and Recreation version of OSHA is, but David must have loved this park.
To that of a roller coaster. It was rumored that during the testing of the attraction, Mulvihill offered $100 to employees who were willing to try it. Test dummies apparently came out of the loop without their heads. When it was open, guests would be weighed, hosed down, and given a set of instructions to decrease the possibility of injury.
And people still got injured
to assist stuck riders that could not make it all the way through the slide. Many guests that completed the loop would come out at the bottom, suffering from bloody noses or other injuries, either from hitting the top of the loop or the impact on the way down. The Cannonball Loop was indicative of a larger issue with Action Park, as many of the other attractions were poorly crafted by designers that were less than engineers, and most were designed to minimize cost rather than maximize safety.
Dear Lord, he just appears every time you mention cutting costs. Now, who is this fine gentleman who are somehow not familiar with Defunctland? That's Michael Eisner.
The rides became even more dangerous when paired with the fact that the park sold alcohol at many of the convenience stands, often to minors. There was even a microbrewery near World. Many of the guests visiting the inexpensive park came from low-income areas and did not have the necessary swimming skills to navigate some of the attractions and pools. Action Park also heavily marketed to Spanish populations, but there were no translations or translators for the guests when they visited.
And the Polish, don't forget the Polish. Action Park is like Disneyland, run by proponents of eugenics. Or I guess the society that okayed the Darwin Awards.
Explaining safety instructions was virtually impossible.
You already know that Action Park has the most innovative and exciting rides. The Alpine Slide.
Yeah, I fucking bet.
Spectacular water ride.
I bet.
But Action Park means more than just great rides. It means super live shows, fantastic summer festivals, and scrumptious food and drink, including an authentic German brewery. Come to Action Park because
German brewery?
the only thing
yes,
that's
please.
Great. Labor Day Polish Festival, September 6th and 7th.
I'm booking my trip right now.
The majority of those employees were teenagers and were not equipped to handle the rowdy guests of the park. So on any given day, you could have an overcrowded water park filled with drunk teenagers that couldn't swim, riding shoddily built attractions supervised by teenagers that may or may not be able to communicate with them. It is no.
That sounds like a fucking Simpsons bit. If you went to Action Park, getting in an aquatic ride seems a bit of a waste. I can still have fun with water parks, even if I'm a shark.
I wonder what happened next.
Death.
On July 8th, 1980, a male employee was riding the Alpine Slide when his cart went off the track. He hit his head on a rock during the crash, killing him. He was only 19. 2 years later, on July 24th, 1982, a 15-year-old guest was overcome by the waves of the tidal wave pool and drowned. On August 1st, a mere week later, a 27-year-old guest was riding the kayak experience when he was trying to re-enter his kayak after falling out. When doing this, he made contact with the live wiring that powered the underwater fans. The electrocution sent him into cardiac arrest, and he passed after being rushed to the hospital. 2 years later, in 1984, a guest died on the Tarzan swing after a heart attack, supposedly due to the unexpected shock from the cold water. That same year, on August 27th, a 20-year-old drowned in the tidal wave pool. And on July 19th, 1987, another guest drowned there, giving it the nickname the Grave Pool. These deaths are
grave
tragic
pool.
and often overshadowed by the lunacy and legacy of Action Park. Interestingly enough, Action Park was able to avoid many lawsuits with these deaths and many other injuries, due in part to its reputation and also the lax regulations New Jersey had for amusement and water parks.
It's always
Great
New
American
Jersey.
Recreation was even able to expand the Action Park brand to other parts of the country, opening Pocono Action Park in Tannersville, Pennsylvania in 1980, and Action
Who has exposed wiring in a water attraction? Action Park does.
Mountain in Pine Hill, New Jersey
That's
in
who.
1984.
Get wild.
Get wild, get wet.
Mountain. Feel the thrill as you zoom through the black hole. Spin and splash on our bumper boats. While the kids play in our fun-filled kiddie area, cool off in our huge swimming pool, or race around the Grand Prix track. Get
wild, get wet.
Action-packed rides at Action Mountain in Pine Hill, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
It's awesome.
It's
Pocono Action
awesome.
Park had many repeat attractions as Action Park, and was closed
Oh my God, that's horrifying.
in 1991. Action Mountain ran into some financial difficulties with the IRS and the town it was located in, and was closed in 1986.
The fucking IRS.
So why did the original Action Park close? While Action Park and Mulvihill were able to avoid lawsuits with many of the accidents and deaths, the two deaths in 1984 stemmed cases that rightfully plagued the park with a variety of legal problems. Mulvihill eventually pled guilty to 5 charges of insurance fraud. He and his associates claimed that the park saw over 1 million guests a year, and therefore the death toll was comparatively low. The local ER, on the other hand, said that they would have to treat 5 to 10 guests on some days. In response to the high amount of guests visiting the hospital, Action Park bought Vernon, New Jersey, new ambulances. Despite all of these issues, the downfall of Action Park wouldn't come until
Seems that the only time when the IRS saved lives, the one time.
1996.
Once.
It was actually due to Great American Recreation's financial issues and not the park itself. On September 2nd, 1996, Action Park ended its final season, still with the hope that it would reopen the next year. However, Great American Recreation's bankruptcy made it impossible for Action Park to continue operations, so it didn't reopen. After this, the ski resort and Action Park were handed from investor to investor, undergoing renovations for 2 years before reopening in 1998 as Mountain Creek. Safety was a priority under this management, and a valiant effort was put forth to distance Mountain Creek from Action Park's reputation. However, in 2010, Mountain Creek underwent a bankruptcy of its own, and the water park and ski resort was sold to the Mulvihill family. 2 years after this, in 2012, Eugene Mulvihill passed away, and his son Andrew Mulvihill took over ownership of the park. 2 years later, in 2014, Mountain Creek was rebranded back to Action Park.
What?
The park
Thrills in
reopened
what?
many of its classic attractions and started construction on new, terrifying ones.
Oh my God. Never changed.
The Sky Caliber was another attempt at a 360-degree vertically looping water slide, although it used technology to enhance safety. From my knowledge,
they also cut out the middleman by placing you directly in a coffin. That's awesome. That's based. So if you come out dead, well, you're already in the coffin. Just pack him up. We're done here.
Is yet to open at the park, and there's almost no information on its status. The new Action Park tried to use nostalgia to draw guests back for 2 years, before in 2016 it was renamed back to Mountain Creek, in order to once again get away from the negative connotation of Action Park. Early this year it was announced that Johnny Knoxville would be producing, writing, and starring in a film inspired by Action Park, but it was not shot on location. Death is heartbreaking.
I don't remember what that movie was, but I heard it was okay. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly good.
Especially in environments designed for happiness and joy.
I don't know what it is called,
Despite 6
though.
people losing their lives there, Action Park is not remembered for its death toll. It is remembered for and by the kids that grew up with it and survived it. It is seen as a place where the quote-unquote popular and brave teens hung out. The fact that it was referred to as Traction Park or Class Action Park doesn't matter.
Class
because
Action
its inherent
Park
danger is more of a fond memory to the majority of its visitors. The burns, bruises, and the fractured tibias were a rite of passage for its former guests. You think you're cool because you survived a tame roller coaster at Disney in California or at Universal in Florida? Well, welcome to Vernon, New Jersey. Were you able to survive Action Park?
There's nothing in the world like Action Park. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. ER physician, your friend's neck is fractured. What is he doing? He was on the Snapple Snap-Up Whipper Snapper at Action Park. I love how they had test dummies come out missing their heads and still deemed it as safe. This looks like the kind of park that you'd start building a roller coaster tycoon, but got bored after a while and because they didn't care about anything and would be placed in it at all. Yeah. Are they expecting me to curl up into a ball like Sonic? Good. It's a good thing that they had to actually put padding so people stopped getting it in the top, and now they started getting cuts and gashes. Teeth from the previous writers were lodged in the padding. God damn. Everything is legal in New Jersey, says Hamilton. God damn. When an attraction called the Kamikaze can be described as safer in comparison to the rest, you got a problem. God damn. They bought more ambulances than fixing the rides. That's a fucking power move. I'm not gonna lie, that is an absolute power move on their end. They got some real cajones for that.